Hey, Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for Elle Studio to share with you a sketch-inspired layout. So this month we are doing, or this week we are doing back to school. This is the sketch that I based this layout on for my daughter's return to 7th grade last year. The sketch calls for 3 pictures, so I have 3 pictures, and it calls for a multi-layered background. So the blue is from Family Fun. This goes way back in my stash. And then within that blue, it has a smaller rectangle, and I am using a piece of the Noteworthy collection for that. And it's got a bunch of numbers going across it, so that had kind of a school theme to it. I am pulling things both from my stash as well as using goodies from the August add-on kit and the kit itself. This is also a piece of the Noteworthy collection, and you can see that I am working primarily with primary colors. I liked the way that the primary colors popped the photos because you've got the yellow in the background that goes with the yellow school bus, and then you have the blue that goes with my daughter's blue shirt. So this piece is 6 inches. I'm not sure about that actually. I thought about 6 inches wide, but I didn't want it to be exactly half of the page, so I think it's actually 5 inches wide. And then I'm going to use 2 pieces of this patterned paper. It's a green stripe, which reminds me of a notebook page, and I'm going to put them side by side to create a longer piece, and that is from the Beautiful Day 6x6 paper pad. In the sketch, it actually has 2 layers there. You have that outer layer and then the white inner layer that the pictures are sitting on. I like layers, but I don't like to use as many layers as some people do. So I am going to actually just omit one of those layers. And that's one of the deviations that I make from this sketch. You can see I had 4 photos originally, but that was going to then take the sketch off the edge of the format that the sketch is in. And so I opted to drop 1 photo, the back to school cake. And I now have stars that I cut again using some red from the Beautiful Day 6x6 paper pad, and I'm going to scatter those just as they are called for in the sketch. And then the sketch also calls for that bigger circular element to the bottom right of the photos, and I'm going to use a piece of cork from the August add-ons from the Makes Me Smile cork circles. Something interesting about that cork is it says Ready, Set, Go. And when Mia was looking at the layout, she said to me that I needed to change it to Raider, Set, Go. So her school mascot are the Raiders. And so I toyed with the idea, and I really did want to do that because it was relevant to her school and her memories of the school. But I didn't have letters that were small enough for it, and I wasn't sure quite how I was going to be able to broach that. So I did leave it as Ready, Set, Go, but I may be able to get in there at another point and change that to Raider, Set, Go. So at this point, I am content with the basic elements that are called for in the sketch and how I want to use this sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere things. You can see that I divided that page because I wanted to be able to make it go a little bit further down the page, and that gap is going to get covered up there by that green pattern paper. Now, I'm not quite sure how I want to cut this, so I'm going to go ahead and lay the elements on it and then base the size of that green paper on the way that the elements get arranged. I know I want to use these large Jane alphas for the title, so I'm just using some of a few letters I just pulled out there as placeholders for the height. Now you're going to see me adhere 2 4x3 or 3x4 photos here, but you will see my finger there. I knew that the title, so I knew I wanted to put 7th grade in there, and I knew that I was not going to be able to make that work if I were to use both of those pictures as 3x4. The sketch does call for 3 square photos, and try as I might, I was not able to amputate Mia's head or feet in order to make the picture a square, so that is why that photo remains a 3x4. I'm not sure why I went off camera there. Oh, I think I was trying to get the adhesive off the back of the photo because I cut the photo to use it as a placeholder while I constructed the rest of the layout, but I didn't want the adhesive on there because that adhesive is very adhesive, and if things were to have gotten too far stuck on there, it may have pulled off that green, which I didn't want to risk, and so that's probably what I was doing off camera. So I will adhere that. That is a book report card from, I want to say that that was a June kit, but I am going to take off the heading of that, and it still allows author, which lets you know that Mia wrote the journaling and her review of her first day of school, as well as her rating. And so that's why I chose to use that particular card there. There are cards that I could have used from the August kit. However, the color scheme did not match with the colors, the primary colors that I opted to go for. So I have a couple of labels. I keep all of the labels that I print together, and so I don't always know where they're coming from. That's the beauty of having a million labels. This is the pencil wood veneer that comes from the August TGIF wood veneers. And I'm going to use that where the sketch has those lines. It may have been journaling on the intended for journaling, but I used it for that pencil there. So I pulled the dies for the title that I want, and then I reprinted that photo so that it too had a white border around it. And I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to get that journal card in there where you can still see the yellow as well as not cover up too much of the photo there. So you can see I'm pointing out there that I've got all of the main layouts that are in the sketch. I'm now going to use the polka dot large chain alphas for the title, and I'm going to use a navy in which to stamp that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. What I don't show you is how I do use the large chain alpha dies and my manual die cut machine to cut that out. But literally I use it's as simple as running it through, and I use a magnetic platform in order to hold those dies down, and then you just roll it through. It's pretty easy to do. They are a bit of an investment, the metal dies, but I tell you, it is so worth it. If you go back into the history of my YouTube channel, you will see that I use these dies and these letters a lot. So these are also from the August add-on kit. They're the Notebook Puffy Alpha stickers. I'm going to use the TH to make 7th, the TH and 7th. And I am also going to use the Back to School stamp and stamp Back to School up above. So the main title could be Back to School. It could be 7th grade with Back to School as the subtitle, but either way, you get the idea of what the subject of this layout is. I'm just going to adhere these down. So you can see in the sketch that it calls for little circles above title. Those could have been round puffy stickers. I opted to omit that because 7th grade was good for that large title. And then instead of those round puffy stickers, you can see where I used that Back to School there. There are a few elements that I'm going to end up doing off camera. So that yellow label there, I am going to adhere in the video. However, off camera, I'm going to take that off because I wrote her school's name, Moody Middle School, and it comes out all wrong, just wrong. So I take that off, and I'm going to use a tab that says This Moment from the August kit in place of that. And then I'm also going to use a green label up the top. I like the way that the green label ties together with the green paper. And then I'm going to use a green die cut that says Best Day Ever at the bottom. So those 3 green elements kind of tie that from top to bottom and create some movement from the top of the page down through to the bottom of the page there. So there's that yellow label you see me adhere there that I will pull off. I do go back and use some of my favorite acetate die cuts. I've pulled the greens, that green at the top left there, and then the yellow at the bottom right. I just liked the way that, again, it pulled more color into the layout, and you can see that cluster, that trio of clusters that are called for in the sketch. I did incorporate a few of the puffy stickers from the back to school puffies in from the August add-on into the layout as well. So you can see how it's a good mix of new goodies as well as some oldies as well. If you are looking for a list of the supplies, be sure to head over to the Elle's Studio blog, and I have a blog post about this layout as well. You will be able to find the sketch there too if you want to play along with my use of the sketch here. And there's a little bit more detail that you can read over there on the blog. I will also link you down below to the August goodies. And if you shop through this link, it is an affiliate link. So just so that you know that. These are the puffy stickers, stars puffy stickers that came out. I want to say these are from about 2 months ago. And again, the supply list is over on the Elle's Studio blog. And I just used a few of the smaller ones, again, to add that splash of color to this trio of elements that are scattered throughout the page there. So Mia does do her own journaling. Well, on this particular layout, she did her own journaling. I had her write it in pencil, and then she went ahead and went over it with the Elle's Studio pen. And again, for a little bit more color, I'm going to add some of these everyday label stickers. The top one says "So Fun." The black one on the right side says "Good Times." And then the one on the underneath the photos in the star says "Perfect Day." I am also going to use a star from I want to say this is the June stamp set. I can't remember, but it's the one that came out with the 4th of July. It's the July kit with the stamps. I used the smallest star there and a green ink to stamp what her rating of her first day back to school is. So that, my friends, is my sketch-inspired layout for Elle's Studio. Enjoy these close-ups. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.